I do the Raw recaps pretty much every single week, as well as talk about the pay-per-views. And normally I'm kind of negative on the Raw ones because it's 3 hours. It's hard for all 3 hours each segment to be good. A lot of times they're train wrecks. So people have asked if I hate watch. First and foremost, I never understood the idea of hate watching. If I watch a show and I don't like it, I just quit watching it. I've been watching Raw pretty much nonstop since its inception. Actually, since before. Since the time of primetime wrestling on Mondays. So I'm watching professional wrestling. Oh man, one of my spreadsheets actually have like the day I actually started officially watching wrestling. Let's see if I can find that spreadsheet real quick. But anyways, when it comes to the idea of hate watching, I don't see a rationale or a reason behind it. Do I enjoy all of Raw? No. I don't think you're going to find people who love every single bit of Raw. There are people who are going to enjoy a lot of it. People are going to enjoy probably none of it. But I think when it comes down to it, the whole idea of you need to enjoy every single moment of what you are watching, that's virtually impossible. I'm trying to see if I've got it here on this massive spreadsheet that has all my other information on it. Yeah, so I'm currently looking through what ends up being the sheet where I put almost every single fight that somebody wants me to do. So this one. So back to the idea of hate watching. I don't get it. Most people watch professional wrestling now, especially the main ones, which is the WWE. They're watching it for a couple reasons. One, it's either they've watched for so long it's habitual. Those I can understand because when you watch something for years and years and years and years and years, it's gonna make sense. This is one of those things where you watch it because that's what you do. You watch it. Okay, here we go. Found it. I first officially watched professional wrestling on March 1st, 1986. So I'm now over 30 years watching professional wrestling. Why is that? Why I supposed to know that day? Because I first started watching, it was Saturday Night's Main Event. So that's when I first started watching professional wrestling. I really haven't gotten out of it. There were times it was awesome to watch. The 80s was a different time of professional wrestling. A lot of it was it's fake, right? Yeah. I kind of gathered that when the Macho Man became the Macho King and then smashed Ultimate Warrior back with the scepter, allowing Sergeant Slaughter to get the victory and become champion, hitting somebody with a metal object in the back of the head would kill them. Not just knock them out for, 10 seconds. So I was aware of that. And then in the 90s, it was also kind of bizarre to watch, too. Was I a huge Hogan fan growing up? A little bit. I really fell in love with it watching some of the old NWA. Ric Flair's amazing. It's weird seeing him go from where he was to what he is now. Watching the 80s was good. The 90s, I actually used to watch all of them. WCW. I was a big fan of Clash of Champions. I thought it was great to do essentially a free pay-per-view. I do recall the time of pay-per-views. I actually remember buying a few of them. We actually had to rent a cable box. You just had to rent a box to watch pay-per-view. So you had to pay the rental fee and then the fee to actually watch it. So I remember a lot of that stuff. Or going to the video store and renting the old WrestleManias, the old pay-per-views, and sitting down and watching them a couple of times. 90s Attitude Era hit, and everyone loved wrestling. It became cool. It became went from being this bizarre sort of kind of carny thing that, only idiots watch it, to it became mainstream, it became cool, it became hip. The Monday Night Wars was all about ratings, and it was just smash mouth in your face TV. It essentially was Jerry Springer. I remember getting together with fans, having nitro parties. I remember actually doing those sort of things. You got together and you watched with friends. Got into college. I remember still being in the dorm when we had, I think we had WCW on when they did the simulcast. We had one of them on the screen and one going through the speakers. So you can tell that they were off by a couple of seconds. It was a huge moment. Remember watching the Invasion fail. I was having brought back ECW, and then they did WWECW. So I've been there through a lot of high times, a lot of low times. I went to an event in Chicago. This is Mordecai. Dyed my hair, made a giant white robe thing out of what was Muslim white. Took cardboard and duct tape and spray paint, made that giant weird scepter thing that he carried for the 2 months he was there. So I know it's like to mark out for a guy. When I followed the ECW brand, when they did like a Peoria show and then I think it was like Carbondale, I was there dressed as Kevin Thorne. You know, marked out for the guy. I guess I'm a Kevin Furtick mark. Sorry. But there's always been those couple of guys that you watch on a show. For a while, SmackDown was Punk on. I'll watch the Punk segment. And I quit watching SmackDown. Because it got bad. For a while it was awesome during the brand split. And that just began to be the show that nobody watched because nothing important happened. But I always watched Raw. When Raw was good, it was good. When it was bad, oh man, it was horrible. Over the years, I've noticed that, the main event scene, when it's John Cena, meh. I went through years and years of build a guy up for a month, like, how's John Cena going to stop him? And then John Cena crushed him at a pay-per-view. And then next month, they would pretty much either run the same guy, build up again against John, have John mow through him. And it kind of started to wear on you. I loved the Summer of CM Punk. Thought that was great. It was a great way to bring him back and to make wrestling cool again for a couple of weeks. The way things are now, the biggest issue with it being a 3-hour show is it's tough to have all your segments be good. And from a wrestling fan standpoint, very much like a horror movie fan, I've mentioned in the past, it's like panning for gold. You go through a lot of crap to get the occasional nuggets where like, that was good. I like that. I hit the dirt sheets, and people think, well, that spoils it for you. If you're watching Raw and everyone's chanting for Brock Lesnar, it's like, oh, the Lesnar shows up. Well, it's not going to be a surprise. Shane showing up was a surprise. Jericho showing up, when he does it, it's a surprise, but you know he's always going to come back. Their moments are done with great booking decisions. Roman Reigns is the heir apparent. He is going to be the face of the company. So when your storyline is the Authority wants to keep him away from the title, but they put him in number one contendership matches, or they put him in tournaments to become champion, or they put matches with the champion, then the narrative of we're keeping you from the title by giving you opportunities at the title doesn't make any sense. You'll never be champion, Roman. We're putting you in the Money in the Bank ladder match for the vacant title. Roman Reigns will never be champion. We're putting you in the Survivor Series tournament. No, nobody buys it. I mean, we've spent the better part of a year, almost 2 years now, of Roman Reigns getting these massive pushes. Ironically, I went through a lot of the background. He had a singles match against Randy Orton at SummerSlam. During the time when Orton was like, I don't care. Don't. Orton wanted a break, and they're like, you're going to keep on going. Fine. I will dial it in. That's it. Then he had the hernia thing, came back, won the Royal Rumble. Nobody cared. The year before, oh yeah, people loved Roman Reigns. Watching the older stuff, when he was in the Shield, and people are chanting for him like crazy, because he was built up, he was the hot tag guy. Okay. Dean Ambrose, did your talking. Seth Rollins, got it done in the ring, hot tag. To Roman Reigns, even in the promos, he was the hot tag. He was the believe that, fist in the center of the screen. That's who he was. The crowd got behind other people. Got behind Daniel Bryan. During the time of Batista's going to be the big guy. Fans changed it. Made history. And I was like, oh, right, we did it. Roman Reigns? I feel sorry for Joe Inoki. The Roman Reigns character, it does not work. He came back, did a solid beatdown angle on Triple H. Nobody really cared. we're going through another scenario where John Cena feels like a really great heel. He's portrayed as a good guy, but he's really the bad guy. He's misogynistic. He'll take advantage, like his feud with Rusev. He beat Rusev down, he assaulted Rusev, and he became essentially champion through dirty, underhanded tactics. We're seeing the same thing from Roman Reigns. It's sad. That being said, at the same time, the Dean Ambrose Triple H storyline was fantastic. Crowd loved it. Had he had won, that'd been fantastic. The Dean Ambrose Brock Lesnar works. I'm a fan of Bray Wyatt, even though for the life of me I have no idea why Vince hasn't figured out that this guy works. Instead, he's in a gatekeeper position. Okay, that's fine. I was looking to see him. They make him down, and then they pull the rug up from underneath him because Vince is knowing what to do with the guy. Kevin Owens, great worker, solid all-around guy. I have a feeling that if he was built more like Neville, he'd be like a 9-time champion by now. NXT is amazing. Seeing a call for someone like Sami Zayn, and they were smart. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens feuded a little bit in NXT. So then they're talking about how they faced each other in Ring of Honor. That's at SmackDown, where they talk about the passive wrestlers. They can pull the NXT stuff, and it works. There's lots of good things. The women's division now is fantastic. They make simple, smart booking decisions, and it works. Wrestling works when it's simple. And not simple as in like, simple as in, here's your storyline. None of these huge twists and turns that make no sense. But it's, you have the title. Yes, I want the title. Okay. We need no more contender. The title itself is a good enough prop to have people fight. Or Pride. Pride's a great one too. The Dean Ambrose Brock Lesnar storyline, it's, you know what? I am crazy. I'm looking for a challenge. You, Brock Lesnar, you are the biggest challenge I can think of. I want to see how far I can go in a ring with you. And you know what? Make it a street fight. Do it. You got a good story. Dudley's came back. Crowd was hot for him. The tag division at the time was kind of bizarre. Now they got a decent feud with the Usos. Should be a solid match. League of Nations makes no sense. This should be a super dominant team. Taking on the New Day, but the New Day, really good on the mic. 90% of the time. That's what you watch for. You watch for the moments when it's good. That's why you watch wrestling on DVR. I was in Elgin when Raw was in Chicago. I was like 20 minutes away, and I was like, I could buy a ticket because it's not sold out, but man, I got to drive to Allstate. Allstate parking lot sucks. And I'm not going to be able to skip through the segments that I don't care about. I watch Raw on average in about an hour and a half. I'm skipping intros, I'm skipping the commercials, I'm skipping recaps. They did less recaps on Raw, they probably squeezed in one extra match. Am I looking forward to heel Ryback? Yeah. Sure. They need people to fill that void. Roman Reigns will probably win the title. Will he feud with heel Ryback? Sure. Will it be great? No. But there's the undercard. Undercard should be pretty good. AJ Styles, Jericho? It's a good feud. I don't mind watching it. AJ Styles, Kevin Owens? Sign me up. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens? Sign me up. Bray Wyatt? Anybody? Sign me up. New Day talking trash? I'll take it. Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, Charlotte or something? I'll take it. Enzo Big Cass getting a call up? I'll love it. Balor Club showing up? Give it to me. Let's do it. There's a lot of good stuff. We know pretty soon between now and SummerSlam, Cesaro's coming back. Seth Rollins is coming back. Neville should be back and healthy by the time pretty close to when Survivor Series rolls around. Maybe Shane will win, and then it'll be like, here's your new general manager for Raw. It's Daniel Bryan. I'll be like, Sting? Might not be Daniel Bryan because he's retiring, and Brie will probably retire. You know, there's some good stuff going on. Potentially more good stuff going on. But there's just a lot of garbage too. And you take the bitter with the sweet. Stuff that's good, it's good. Stuff that's bad, it's bad. Stuff that's meh is meh. What's going to need to do is need to figure out, okay, what is the crowd like? What works for the crowd? Do 60 to 70% that, 30 to 40% your more experimental stuff. Reduce the amount of recaps. And you know what? Raw can be pretty good. I know a lot of it is now that they're more concerned with how many times people watch something on YouTube. Well, if I could watch the last 1 minute of a match on YouTube, why would I spend the previous 8 minutes watching the full match? They're shooting themselves in the foot. Stuff on YouTube, they do some really great post-match interviews, which would be nice to see snippets of that on the main show. Or if they want to go back to the split screen experience, you know, have the network do not quite a live feed of Raw, but have it describe what's going on with Raw. And then when they go to commercial, kick that screen on, be like, here's what you're watching. Where they're doing a backstage segment, have the ability to have the, you know, it's like here's the segment live before it hits YouTube. Do some of those sort of small things, but the network more important. Do I hate watch it, Morrissey? No. There's a lot of times when you kind of go, this sucks. But hit your tab forward button. If you don't like it, you can skip through it. I'm actually on the fan council. So when they send like, oh, what do you think about this? I will go through segment by segment. This I liked, this I didn't like. Here's what I liked it, here's what I didn't like it. And if you're a fan and you don't really like watching wrestling, dude, Lucha Underground. You can find stuff on YouTube. You can get it on iTunes. New Japan. They do a pretty solid show. You got NXT. There are other places to watch good quality professional wrestling. That's not the main WWE roster.